You know, social media is changing the game these days.
We use it for disaster relief groups to coordinate relief efforts.
So in the last 12 minutes on Twitter for Have Them Give, he's gained 167 followers. I've gained 200 followers in the last 12 minutes.
Hey, Grant Cardone here, New York Times bestselling author and your #1 sales expert here on Twitter. This is Michael Nast. I call him the Nasty Man. And bam, I was on him like white on rice, baby. Unbelievable record 2011 year for me. This is what we did this year. I added a Twitter account that has 100,000 followers in 12 months. YouTube account just hit 1 million views. We've dropped over 600 videos on YouTube. Facebook, we had over 20 million reposts. TV was off the hook. Great having you out here, buddy. I look forward to doing some business with Michael Nast. Dude, Michael Nast, this was your idea. You pushed me to do this. How y'all turn this thing around. This whole production was done with less than 2 days. Dude, everybody's like, what? And we got all the other stuff that we're doing at the same time. So it just shows you, man, commit, figure out the mechanics later. It'll work out.
Hey, this is Michael Nast, and we're here with Brad Lee in the Bottom Line.
That's right, motherfucker.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today we've got, our guest is Michael Nast. Good morning, Michael Nast. How are you today?
Good morning, Carla. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I can watch that intro video, and it's so funny because I've seen that progression of you and Grant and Bradley, and now to see them all now, it's like to see you guys, it's interesting because you guys all look like babies back then.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, gosh, what is that? 2011, 2012, so almost, gosh, 10 years ago.
That's hard to believe it's been that long, but I want you to introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Well, as you've already seen, I'm Michael Nast. I originally started a company called .TV Media Services, gosh, way back in 2004, and it came out of a passion for social media, even though there really wasn't much social media in 2004. We had MySpace, and then everything started coming out. And the original thing that I started doing was just helping people who didn't know how to get on social media, how to set up their MySpace, and then as everything came out from Facebook to YouTube, on how to set it up, on how to use it, because just the basic functions. And I did it just mainly for my friends and stuff, but I just had this passion for social media because in person I am very introverted, believe it or not.
Right.
Around strangers. Now around people I know and family and friends and people I'm comfortable with, you can't get me to shut up. But I am not the person that when I walk into a room with strangers that you're going to notice, because I'm going to kind of
do that.
Dug down. But what I found with social media and online is it allowed me to flourish because I could type, I could say what I want to say, and just hit enter, and not worry about stuttering, not worrying about if somebody's looking at me weird, losing my train of thought, and all that. And then, you know, if it was going to be something I was worried about the response to, I could walk away for a minute from my computer and then come back and see that reaction. And you know, I started a blog as a personal diary.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. I made it public, but I didn't didn't like promote it, because I was like, well, hey, if somebody comes along here and wants to read about what's going on in my life. And at the time, I had stepped in my first endeavor of trying to make money online, which was online poker, and I was extremely successful at it.
Yes.
Right off the bat. I mean, the first tournament I played in was a $10 entry, and I think I won $1,200. I finished second or third and won $1,200. I'm like, wow, I turned $10 into $1,200. Yeah. This is an easy way to make money. And then went on to become, for I think 3 years in a row, I was in the top 10% in the world in online poker winnings.
You know, that's funny you brought that up, because I remember you going, and I remember you going to be in those tournaments, like actually sitting in Vegas at those tournaments, and I had forgotten that you were a good poker player.
Yeah. Yeah, the online basic, I would say, education I got led to, actually going to, I played in the World Series many years, and I've been there for the full six weeks of events many times.
Right.
I've traveled, to Tunica on the World Poker Tour and a few of those stops on that. But I got burnt out on that because it was a grind. It was a hard job. It took a lot of your time. So it wasn't exactly what I was looking for when I started my journey on how to make money off my laptop and be on a beach in the Caribbean. That was for years when I had more than a 9 to 5. I had basically a 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. job, 6 days a week in the automobile industry for 25 years. And I always would say to everybody in my circles, I'm going to figure out how to make money off my laptop and be on a beach in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it was I was basically, locked in my computer playing poker and needing social engagement. Being I couldn't leave my computer, I was just basically one of the first people as every platform came out, as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. When they rolled out, I engaged these platforms because I could have social conversations and engagements with people, connect with people. Right. And then one of the most pivotal launches was Justin TV in 2006, which Justin TV has now become Twitch. Well, when Justin TV launched, and it was crazy how I found it, it was featured on Nightline one night when it launched. Yeah. And it was the founder, Justin Kahn, just live streaming himself, Truman Show. So the premise was he was going to live stream his live 24/7, and there was a chat room when he went to Justin TV, the live stream. And what got me interested in seeing it first is when Nightline introduced him, that Justin's playing poker with his friends in San Francisco right now. Let's go live. So actually, interesting. I saw it go live on TV. Went to JustinTV.com, or it was Justin.tv back then. Went there and followed along, and so it was kind of interesting to see for about a month. But then a month later, he opened it up to the public, and it became at that point the first social network that you could live stream from. Okay. Much like what Facebook Live is now. Right. Here, 2006. 14 years ago. Yeah. But when that happened, I knew this was an epic shift. I knew the ability to do what we're doing right now, go live on the internet from anywhere in the world at any time, is an amazing, what's the right word here? Amazing ability. Yeah. It just gives you just opens up so many doors to get attention to whatever's going on in your world. So I knew it was going to be huge, and I knew there was a lot of money to be made in it, and I knew we could figure out ways to monetize it first. We're going to benefit tremendously on it. What was funny when it first came out, people thought the way to monetize it was to do what Justin was doing, what they called it being a live caster, where you set up.
Is that what it was called?
Live casting, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Justine did it. I'm sure she's really huge on social media these days still. And a whole bunch of other people were doing it. And what they would do was either, like Justin, have a camera attached to them. Yeah. And you were like live life through their eyes, or there'd be other people that would set up a webcam in their living room. Right. And half the time, they're just living life, not even paying attention. And the other half, they would engage because there was always a chat room with every broadcast. So they'd engage the chat. And then there were other people that had shows. And there was a lot of drama going on. in that community back then because very few people knew about it, very few people broadcast. So it was a very tight-knit community, which I started blogging about that. And it led to being the most read blog about live streaming from '06 to '08, which I featured all the drama, gossip, news, celebrities that made their first appearance on live streaming, how it was being used.
Right.
And there was a lot of drama between broadcasters and what was going on back then, and even the direction of Justin TV or Ustream or live stream. And then we had the clips of whatever happened the previous day that you couldn't find anymore. They were deleted or the broadcaster was banned because he did something bad, either anything from getting naked to hot on camera, just crazy stuff, or it was a celebrity that in the middle of the night. I remember Dane Cook. Came on in the middle of the night, and we were able to capture. He's like, didn't know who was this, and not thinking anybody would ever see this clip, and actually had that recorded, and my blog was getting probably anywhere from 100 to 250,000 hits a month, and I was able to learn how to funnel traffic. I could go in specific chat rooms or post and leave a link to something that happened on live streaming the night before, and link like where the blog article was. Immediately go to my side feed and just watch the traffic funnel. Well, all these ways I accidentally learned how to funnel traffic and all this other stuff, but I wasn't making any money from it. So so it was kind of frustrating. So I became a pioneer because I was one of the first people to monetize it seriously, because I said, let's take these live streams and get them on the Hollywood red carpets at the movie premieres, and let's get it on the fashion runways in New York when they do the fashion shows. So I pitched it to Hollywood. I pitched it to New York. Let's set up a lot, victoriasecrets.com/live. I think one of the first movies was one of the Superman movies. We did superman.com/live, directed all the traffic there. We'd have the live broadcast, have a chat room where when the stars came down to where we were interviewing them, the fans could ask questions online. And then around the broadcast screen, you've got all your call to actions and click funnels and merchandise. So click here to buy click here to buy movie tickets, click here to see whatever, to all these call to actions to even monetize it even more. And then the same thing with fashion and all that. And so, that was one of the things I became well known for in the industry. And then the shift to social media, which I never planned on happening. I never planned on doing what I do now. I never planned on going viral or being in the position I am now. But I had developed a following through my what I'd done in both the online poker and live streaming world, that I developed a following on all the platforms. And Charlie Sheen, this crazy pivotal moment in my life was Charlie Sheen getting fired from 2.5 Men. He opened a Twitter account, was the first person to get 1 million followers on Twitter in 24 hours. Back then, we all remember he was in the news every day, the Tiger Blood stuff going on. And so internships.com came to him and said, let's have a contest to get you a social media person, because he was constantly tweeting and making statements that, he needed a person. He didn't know what he was doing. Whatever, I don't get this, blah, blah, blah. And so just out of a whim, I entered it. And, I was like, I got a decent following. And at the time, now I had 21 blogs.
Wow.
21 blogs at one time. Everything from conspiracy theory to, you name it, how to play poker, all kinds of, offering poker lessons, all kinds of stuff. And then, so I entered, we went through all these rounds, and each one was, a little more specific, submit your qualifications, blah, 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 submit your website, submit your social media. So started with 91,000 people, I believe, entered. We get to the final round, and they send me an email. It was like a Tuesday morning. It said, final round. We need a 2-minute max video. You can answer 1 to 3 questions. And the questions that I could pick from first was, what's a company using social media best and why? The second is, you're advising a political candidate for office. How would you get them elected via social media? And then the third was, if you were the social media director for a major humanitarian relief organization, how would you raise awareness and donations in light of an epic natural disaster? Well, a light bulb went off in my head at that point. The earthquake tsunami had just hit Japan the week before. Charlie is looking to make a comeback. So I'm like, the other 2 questions are trick questions. Charlie's looking a way to activate his social media to do some type of charity fundraising in light of this epic natural disaster that just happened, and he'll be like a hero if he raises all this money with all this new social media following he's got. So I came up with an epic idea of a 10-day, 240-hour live broadcast, for the first time ever, a live broadcast on what was at time LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all the platforms that were around in 2011. And I titled it hashtag Have Then Give and 10 by 10. And it was a simple
Oh, a little technical difficulty. Is it okay? You can hear me? Hang in there, people. We're going to fix it. This is always the thing that happens on Beauty of Live. Yeah. We can hear you, Mike Cirqua, too. So he's asking if he can be, should he go out and come back in? Yeah, okay. Okay. We're going to play a video, you guys, if you can still hear me. I'm hoping you can, but we're going to play a little video of what Michael was saying. And hopefully he'll be back with audio. All right, so everybody interrupted there. So we're talking about what you suggested that you do on the live stream.
Yes. And basically, I came up with a video concept to present it. And first time, I've been on webcam doing lives, but mainly I've been the behind-the-scenes guy, the producer, helping Warner Brothers and Victoria's Secrets and all that set up their live broadcast.
Right.
So I was, I wasn't ever on camera really. Besides, like I said, like we're doing right now, which I was comfortable with. But I needed to do my first really good video,
right.
And I didn't know, I didn't know anybody, so I called around. Everybody's quoting me $25,000. I've got to get this cut in 48 hours, and I'm like, I can't do that. Blah blah blah. And finally, one guy's like, I know this guy freelances at a technical high school close to where I live. When he said he'd do it for $500, come after school. We shot it. Put it up on, submitted it on YouTube on a Thursday night, and I went to bed. I was exhausted. I woke up the next morning. The video had over 40,000 views, and
oh wow!
I had 6,000 emails, and I was contacted by everybody from Good Morning America to Oprah Winfrey's Angels Network, and
wow!
And because everybody thought, one, the concept was phenomenal, and two, that I was going to win the contest.
Yeah.
Then what happened over the next 3 months? We were in limbo. They didn't announce anything as who's going to win or whatever. But in the beginning, I said, well, shoot, I better make a Facebook page for this, have them give. I better make a Twitter account for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably need to get some more engagement on the video.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time I was in that boat. And so what I do, I went on Google, how to get more fans, how to get more engagement, how to go all this.
Mm-hmm.
And there were just no easy solutions. There were social media experts who wanted you to pay them $3,000 a month and sign up on a 12-month contract. And, well, you should get this. And I'm like, well, what if I don't? Well, sorry, and then the only solution I could find at that time was paying Facebook. Facebook, it's so funny. Facebook says don't buy likes, but you can buy likes from them. So I went through their program, opened it up worldwide to get the fastest possible, numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3,000 likes, and I got a credit card bill at the end of the month for $3,000. And then all my likes were from Indonesia, and they were like Indonesian teenagers. And this is through Facebook.
Yeah.
But I said, I need the likes. So, that was great, but they're not worth $1. So what I saw was, I said, there's got to be thousands of people that had this problem that I have right now, and there's no solution. If somebody can offer a solution in this area, it's going to be epic for them.
Right.
And so at this time, we're down to 50 contestants, and I always tell people, you can go on YouTube and search Tiger Blood Intern, and it's a little dated because it's 2011, but you can get a bachelor's in social media marketing just by watching the videos of the other people in the content, because it talks about the best company, why, how to get political candidate elected, and why. And I go through these videos and go, wow, this person's good. I go check out their social media. Wow, they've got 100,000, 500,000 followers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, if somebody's smart, they'd hire all of us. And we'd have, they have the most powerful social media marketing company in the world. Well, naturally, I couldn't hire everybody, but I could do the next best thing. I could reach out to them on their social media, go friend them. Yeah. And that's what I did. And work, and then be like, hey, you got this big network. I've got a decent network. Imagine if we combined our networks. For your clients, my clients, get into consulting and promoting and all that. And also was able just to, through people, to find people, connecting with other people. I found a guy who could get great Facebook engagement. I found a guy who can get great YouTube engagement. I found a guy who can get great Twitter engagement. And so within 30 days, I was able to figure out how to flow 3,000 organic likes minimum to any page at 10 cents a like versus $1. Wow. And so that was my first thing, getting going on, because then I put that out there. I can get 1,000 likes for $100 in one day. Right. If you need 100,000 YouTube views, I can get that for you in a few days. All organic, all legal, all real people. Right. And so that was what started me. And then that's how I came across Grant, who became my first client that I started mentoring and consulting. Right. And how this happened, because Grant, basically, I followed Grant from the car business, which I was
going to say we should do a little backstory here, because you have transitioned from, and I wanted just to mention too, you were in the Navy.
Yes.
Way back when.
Way back,
Thank you for your service, by the way. And we're going to talk about the Chris Kyle video as well on YouTube, because I remember being a part of that Let's Get You to 1 Million likes on that, or that views or whatever it is, on YouTube.
Still going insane.
It still is. I know. I looked at it, I'm like, holy smokes, it's at 4 million.
Yeah, 4 million views. It gets, I think, right now, anywhere from 600 to 700 views an hour organically.
It's an incredible video, and we're going to play it in a minute. But I wanted to kind of backtrack there, because I want people to understand a little bit, how did you transition from being in the Navy to going into cars, the automotive industry, into what you're doing now? How did you make all those transitions? Because that's, from doing all those things to doing what you're doing now, is a pretty crazy leap. And it's, you're incredibly smart. You have insight into things. It sounds like just naturally you have that internal, I know this is going to be a good thing. And a lot of people, that's where they struggle, is they don't know how to make that transition. So I wanted you to just talk about that a little bit, if you could.
Well, the Navy and the car business were out of necessity, out of survival. I joined the Navy because I had a situation. My father died when I was 14, and my mother went to jail when I was 18, and I had to give up a baseball scholarship to go home and work, and because I had a little brother, and somebody had to pay the mortgage and bills, so I do all that at 18, and then I succumbed to addiction and became homeless at 18, and that's why I had to join the military. I didn't join the military because I wanted to, or was like, I joined the military because I needed food and I needed a place to live, and it also worked out as probably the best rehab you could ever go to is boot camp. And then I was shipped out of the country for the next 3 years and kept me away from everything. Came back, got in the car business, and it's a business that it's a business of necessity. We all need cars, and it's kind of really not hard sales because you're not knocking on doors, you're not making cold calls. People are coming on the lot. When you go buy a car, you pretty much know what you want, and all it is finding someone that you're comfortable buying a car from. I mean, that's usually what it is. And luckily, people have always had an easy time being comfortable around me because I don't know, I'm I guess blessed in that area. So, but then after 25 years in the car business, money was great, all that. I got to drive a new car. I could drive whatever I wanted off the lot every day. But I felt like I was in work release prison because I wasn't able to be my son's baseball coach. I wasn't able to have holidays off. I tell guys I go, this is work release prison. I'm stuck here and I'm looking out the window on the highway and everybody's going out on July 4th and I've got to work. And so that became my thing. I got to figure out how to make money online. When the laptops came out, I want to be on a laptop, where I can be on the beach, lift up my laptop. Okay, can't spend more than that today. Have research, whatever. And so that's what got me in my spare time, or when I was in between jobs, I would take time off because I'd save money up or whatever, and explore how I could make money online. I said, poker blogging, live broadcasting, led to social media, led to where I'm at now.
And so that's where you were connected with the person that we know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was JJ. Used to be of Capital Machine, and that's how you and I know each other, was through JJ. That was where you guys were connected, correct? Was in the car industry, or did you guys know each other before that?
It was crazy. Me and JJ met in 2000, right after, 2001. It was right before 9/11. 2000, probably a year before 9/11. We met at a dealership in Huntsville, Alabama, Bill Hurd Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama. I actually had to move there because my mother just had some medical issues and I needed to take care of her. And I actually got a job there starting in finance, and then the finance guy didn't like, the manager didn't like, so I ended up going back to sales. And me and JJ were the top two sales, so we were kind of competing against
you guys were competitors.
And then years later he evolved into Capital Machine, and naturally saw we would stay connected through social media, and he saw what I did, and he definitely came to me, and we it's crazy. People have businesses like insulation blowing machines. Brian Hess is another big client of mine that has a pavement, he's a pavement contractor. He does, pavement for gas stations, parking lots, all that stuff. And you're like, how can I grow my business on social media? I'm so specified. Well, JJ have shown that. You guys have shown that, yes, you can through social media. And, Brian's personal experience, a year after basically going through my mentoring and training, has made over $6 million off a $10,000 investment with me. So
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You also, when you guys started Machine Man Live. That's where I kind of came in on the scene, was when that was all starting. And I remember him saying to me, like, off camera and stuff, and he would do lives by himself, and he grew, because he had that personality like no other. There will never be another one like him.
Right.
He was that people were drawn to him, and he would say to me, he'd call me and he'd go, "Girl, why do people want to watch that stuff? Like, I don't know why they're watching." I said to him, and I remember saying to him, "JJ, it's because you're just being you. You're just being yourself, and you're putting yourself out there. That's why they want to watch you." And then you guys grew into Machine Man Live, and you had people on, like you had, if I remember right, was the first person you guys had on, was it Lee Haight?
Yeah, we had Lee Haight. We had Pat Harrington from Bad Boy.
Yeah.
But
Matt Monero was on there.
Yeah, Matt Monero came on, yeah.
Daniel Gomez, Detective Daniel Gomez was on.
From the TV show Cheaters.
Yeah, and
yeah, we had a whole bunch of others, yeah.
the baseball player, I just talked about him before.
Yeah,
Yes,
Rusty Greer.
yes.
Yeah.
You guys had a number of good people come on, and I remember he would do lives, and he was like, that was his natural way because he was just being himself. And then I remember him sitting there, and he was so nervous to interview somebody. But as it went on, and this is what I tell people I work with, the more you do it, the easier it'll get.
Yeah, it's like, I tell people it's like riding a bike. I mean,
Yes.
Another thing that evolved for me was, my TV career. I started in 2011, coming to the Drew Pearson show as I set up their live broadcast to live stream when they taped the show on social media way back in 2012, because I was the expert to go to.
Yeah.
It led to me suggesting a segment called Just Ask Drew, taking questions from social media, which the producer said, well, now you can host this segment. And then I went from host for 3 or 4 years to last year I stepped up and made the decision to be, the show, nobody wanted to take the reins of the show. The executive producer had moved on to different travels. I stepped up and jumped up as executive producer, completely back where I'm comfortable behind the camera. So yeah, I mean, what this show, and that's what's crazy. What I do from TV, video now, one of my biggest passions now is creating video. I have client, if you look at my sizzle reel on my website and all that, it's creating these videos now. One of my first projects was with Tony Romo for the National Fantasy Football Convention, and they just gave me full reign. They said, we just need to get people to sign up, to buy tickets. And so it's just taking that vision in your head and translating it to film. It's almost like being an artist, from a painting to whatever. Now you've got this piece of work that changes lives because it helps people reach their goals. And, it's just it's like the most satisfying thing I've probably ever done.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing too that it's interesting because you've really, like, going back to Grant Cardone, you've worked with, you're the reason why Grant Cardone is on social media.
Before, but
you got him there from the video. If I remember, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember right, there's a video of him and he's sitting on an exercise ball. Is he not?
Yeah, he did his first live broadcast in his office on a yoga ball.
On a yoga ball.
And it took me. Back to So basically, I learned how to get all this engagement. And Grant posted. And this is what's crazy. It's one of the techniques I teach people. Grant posted. He had the same problem I did with my deal. I have a TV show coming out on National Geographic channel called Turnaround King. Just made a page for it. Please go like it. Yeah. And went to the page, had 57 likes. Went back to Grant's post. Grant didn't know me from Adam. I just commented, hey, Grant, you need likes. We need to talk. And this was on a Sunday evening, late in the evening. Within 5 minutes, I get a caller ID from Hollywood, which is where Grant lived at the time. And he said, this Michael Nast? I go, yeah. He goes, this Grant Cardone. I saw your comment. He goes, I go, yeah. He goes,
Yeah.
how many likes can you get me? I go, well, how many are you looking for? He goes, 100,000. I go, okay, no problem. He was like, what? And I go, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a free demonstration tomorrow, tomorrow morning, to let you see the people that it's real and all this other stuff. And then we can just go from there. And he goes, all right, cool. I'll set up a meeting with my marketing people. We'll do a conference call and you can give us a sample, whatever. So we get him, tens of thousands of likes. And then he's got the problem that people have. He's like, nobody's commenting, nobody's liking my post. What's going on? Why can't that do that? And so we did a contest and all that. We got some engagement. And I just was like, then I was basically, I guess the ability I have is to basically take myself out and just look at it as, if I didn't know me, you, or anybody, first time I'm seeing stuff, how would I feel? How does it make me feel? So I told Grant, I said, well, you know what the problem is? He goes, what? I go, you suck. And he goes, what do you mean? And he goes, I go, well, you're in front of all your, and you can see this on YouTube. You'll see this that happened when I came along. Is all his videos are him sitting behind a desk selling you his stuff. He's giving tips, that are valuable, but it's just all business, buy, sell, value about, and that doesn't it works in your circles of people who know you stuff, but it does not work outside your circles and getting it. So I told him, I said, social media, this is social. I said, you live in Lionel Richie's old house, his mansion, with the swimming pool that you go in the kitchen and come out in the bath, swim all the way across the backyard and come out in the master bedroom. Your next door neighbor is Leo DiCaprio and Dr. Dre. Yeah. And we need your wife, and we need your daughter, which he only had Sabrina at the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That Scarlett hadn't been born.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I must have been on speakerphone or something. I'm having this conversation with him. I hear Elena in the background, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I can be."
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, she used to be an actress. Yeah, that's no problem with her, but no way in hell I'm putting my daughter on camera. There's too many creepers on the internet. Blah blah blah. I don't see how this is going to sell more books and more Cardone universities and all that." And I was like, Grant, you have to do this, or you're not going to be successful on social media. So that's what he started doing. He started sharing his life. He started talking about non-business things, his opinions on things, and all this other stuff. And I said, the other thing you've got to do is when somebody comments and somebody engages you, you need to let them know you saw them. You need to go engage them.
Right.
And so he put all these into practice. And then the last thing I said is, we got to do a live broadcast. And he's like, what? Live broadcast? I don't know about that. I don't know how it's going to work. Yeah. We don't have time. We got too many other things going on. Sounds too difficult. Blah, blah, blah. It took me a month to talk him into doing a live broadcast. It was so funny, Mr. 10X and everything like that.
That's so funny to hear because of how he is now, how they both are now. I mean, and their kids included. I saw clips of both. Well, I think it was Scarlett actually that I saw. And how old is she? 8?
I don't think
she's so little.
Yeah, she was born in 2012. So, yeah, I guess, I would say, maybe.
I mean, to where they are now at the 10X conference, I saw that little girl speaking like she was just commanded that stage like nobody's business, not nervous. Like both those girls are incredible kids.
Yeah, 10,000 people, yeah.
Right? Like they're like little rock stars and they just kind of are just doing their thing. And that is exactly, I'm glad you said that because people have a hard time understanding why do you need to share your life and why do you what is that going to do for me really? Well, and that's why.
Well, and here's the thing, and what I like to do, it's kind of the Gary V marketing theory.
Yeah.
You have to give value away for free because then when people see that benefit, then they
want to work. They want to work with you.
But people, business makes the biggest mistake business makes is, you know, they all hear we got to get on social media is where it's at. You know, when I did the TV show last year, I found out what I'd always preach about. TV's dead. You know, commercial only does so much. It's there for 30 seconds, and now people can DVR through it and all that other stuff. But social media is where it's at, because one, the content's.
Oh, we lost you. Your audio's off. Are you back? Oh, well, here I am. He'll be back, you guys. I'll say while we're doing that. Oh, there he is. There he's back.
No, well, here, I just found out. When you get an Amber Alert on your phone, it kicks you out of the list.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I just got an Amber Alert, so that's what happened.
Got it. Yeah.
But going back, you know, business, you know, everybody, I got to get my business on social media, blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem is you come with the marketing mentality that you're used to is, you know, I've got to push market, you know, buy, so, you know, here's my product, blah, 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 all business, all push. Well, that doesn't work on social media, because we don't go on social media as consumers to buy anything.
Yeah.
We go on there to engage conversations, to, you know, to you know, to do anything but that. So you have to figure out the key to social media marketing is pulling people in.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is where you're, I compared to walking into something we're not allowed to do right now, a social situation, be it a bar, be it you know, something that's not a non-business networking, you know, it's any kind of social atmosphere, a restaurant, or whatever. If you walk into a restaurant or a bar that you don't know anybody in, or maybe casually know somebody, and the first thing you do is shove a business card in their face, and you're off, here's my book, you need to buy it, that type of deal, you know, what are they going to, what do you feel like? You're sitting having a drink with your friend and someone comes up and you start giving their headshots and tell you they're you know, a bodybuilder.
Yes.
All the stuff we see on social media that people are trying to promote. If you did that in a bar, you know, people are going to like think you're a joke. They're not going to want to talk to you.
Right.
Versus where if you walked up to them and you said, hey, I heard you talking about the Cowboys or whatever, you know, I heard you talking about something, you know, that you have, and then you start that conversation. On a social level, and then that leads to them asking, well, what do you do? And oh, wow, you know, I have a problem I think you can solve, that I can pay you to solve. So that's the whole same premise on social media, is putting content out there. You know, people really trip out on the stuff I put out on social media. I mean, I'll put some crazy stuff out there, and there's a purpose behind it, because
there is.
It creates attention. Yeah, sure, it might rub some people wrong, but other people will be like, wow, I wish I could say that on social media. But I learned it by accident, just by who I was and through all my blogging. When I did the blogging, especially about the internet live streaming and stuff, I was very opinionated. I would say when just, you know, they screwed up the site and all this other stuff. And it just translated. And then what I found was people would say, man, I love your post. I would get this direct message. And then at the same time, I went and looked at your business. I looked at your website, and I need to hire you.
Right.
And I, you know, I basically had developed a marketing strategy by accident, just by being me. And then I found out, you know, it's crazy. It's called technically trolling. Some of the trolling I did was creating phenomenal amounts of business for me.
Right.
And that became something I known to do, known to basically pioneer. It's called troll marketing. And people look at troll, you know, I think bad, but there can be good trolls.
Yes. Yes.
Let's say there's an expert in your field as a doctor or whatever, and they're giving out information you know that is not correct, and you're another doctor. And let's say that doctor got a TV show, or that doctor has 100,000 followers on Twitter. If you go to that doctor's post and put a link to a blog post you did on why he's wrong and call him out, well, guess what happens?
Yeah.
He might check it out and start a conversation with you back and forth on social media that all his followers, all these people see.
Right.
Or even worst case scenario, people following that one post in the comments are going to see your post, his followers, and basically you're pulling those people in. And then another thing that I have been credited with developing is what I call endorphin marketing. We have all these people pitching us, selling us text marketing, email marketing and all that. Well, as me and you, once again, taking yourself out of your body and out of your business. Yeah. When I get a business text or I get a business email, I usually don't pay attention to it, and it's annoying. It definitely doesn't release endorphins in my head.
Right.
But if I get all of a sudden this random person just followed me on Instagram and just liked 2 of my posts, and then they commented on one. What's the first thing you would do, Carla?
You need to comment and like on that.
Oh, no.
Respond.
Say, somebody's not following you, and they just did that. What
would I would go and look and see who. I'm going to go see what they do. Like, I'm going to go look at their profile.
You're going to go look at their profile, and right there. But what happened was when you got those likes and the follow on there, it released endorphins in your head.
Yeah.
Because that's what we like. Like, that's what we do.
Yeah, it makes you feel good.
And so basically, we just achieved the objective of our push marketing that doesn't work. We want people to come to check out our website, check out our product, check out who we are.
Yeah.
But if we sit there and ask them to, hey, share my page, share my profile, share this post, most people don't. And even if you do, most people aren't going to pay attention to it unless you got to buy some viral content in there.
Yeah.
So the steps that I teach, and like I said, I learned this by accident because I was just normally that way. I would go through my news feed every morning, like everybody's, and not realizing that is causing people to come look at you every day to feel good about it. Because if Carla's liking me every day, I like her.
Yeah.
It leaves a good impression in my head. And then if they know what you do, then you become the first thing they think about. Maybe they don't need your services right now, but if they're in a conversation with somebody who does, hey, you need to contact Michael. You need to contact Carla. They're badass at social media. She's badass, in the installation industry, that type of deal. So
I think like that goes back to the days of back in Twitter days, everybody was in that whole, and I mean JJ created that whole flow zone, #flow zone, where we were retweeting each other's stuff, and it became a thing that you just did. Like, you retweeted and it wasn't even about I'm going to get something back. It was really just we were all building each other up over on Twitter just because we needed to be built up and seen, and it was all done just because. And it's what I do with MLMs, that I've got people who are in MLMs, they're friends of mine. I don't necessarily need or want to buy their product, but I can share their stuff because somebody in my network, you know what, they might need that, or they might talk, or there will be a connection there. And that's kind of how I've always looked at it. That doesn't mean I'm I'm not necessarily promoting that. It's to help them network, get through the social network.
Oh yeah. And there's actually, I can tell you right now, on Facebook shares, you probably notice when you share a post, it doesn't get anywhere near the engagement one of your normal posts does, because the algorithm does not feature shared posts.
Right.
At any rate. So just give you a little quick hack, and this can change because the algorithms always change. But if you want to really want someone's post that you're wanting to share to get it out there, is you copy the post and then say you're with that person and do a new post. And take their content. Take that video, take that picture, repost it as a original post for yourself, and then you'll get the maximum effect, because shared posts just do not travel very far to your friend.
So this is the other thing you hear people they're really concerned with likes and comments, and there's now there's that kind of opposing thing where people are more just keep putting out the content, because do you find that people are, you're a master at causing a controversial post and making those comments happen though. You do that very, very well. But for somebody who is just maybe not being controversial, but they want people to like and comment and stuff, if that engagement isn't there, do you find that that is because now people have been bombarded in their messenger behind the scenes? So people maybe don't they're probably reading the post, but they might not like it or comment or anything.
Well, the thing I always go back to is, you gotta remember, it's a social platform.
Yeah.
And what you've got to do is, we go through our feeds pretty quick when we're scrolling up. And you know what? Everybody's happy. Everybody's perfect. Until we had this virus situation, everybody, vacation, everything's the same.
Yeah.
So this is where being real comes into play. You got to be real.
Yeah.
And that's what people engage. When let's say you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to
share it.
The other thing is to you want likes and comments, then you need to invite participation. Same thing with like a broadcast. I was going to ask you guys earlier, because like I said, this is a whole new setup that I've never seen or used, doing it through Messenger than broadcasting it. I love it because it's really good technology here, or a way to do it. But is there a way to invite, like ask questions right now in the audience and invite someone
and put them on the screen
to ask that question?
Right.
That kind of stuff. So. One of the ways I really start off good with somebody that's thinking of hiring me, I say, I'll tell you what, just right now, post, how are you feeling? Ask your people how they are feeling about something. How's your day? Ask a pointed question like that, an easy question, and I guarantee you're going to get more engagement than you've gotten on any post probably in your last month. Just because of that simple post. So that's one thing you want to do, because we love to participate. We want to be asked questions. We want to participate. We don't want somebody telling us how great you are and all that. Just imagine if you posted right now, what is the one thing you hate about me the most? Put it in a GIF below.
Right.
Those are things. And see, when you do that, you're like, well, I'm not selling my product, or I'm not getting done what I need to be done. Well, you're doing another thing. You're getting the algorithm. You're getting these people to engage your post. So now that they're commenting and you got a back and forth going, now your content's going to be in their feed more than it was, because they're paying attention to you more. And the other thing is they pay more attention to you. People that hate me pay as much attention to me as people who love me, because they don't know what I'm going to say next. And what's funny is Donald Trump uses almost the same technique. People don't realize Donald Trump says shit he knows is totally bogus a lot of times just to piss off the idiots on the other side. Yeah. He trolls them. He knows if I say this is going to make them go nuts. But in the other, it's going to, one, make my people love me more, and two, get me the headline on the news tonight. I mean, this media that hates him does not realize they got him elected. They are the reason he got elected, because they paid so much attention to him in the beginning, because it made their ratings go out the roof. And if they just would have ignored him and all his little tweets in the beginning and everything, if they just would have he's stupid, put him off to the side, he would have never won the nomination for the Republican Party.
It's funny because I've had this conversation before with people, and just like they'll be so angry at something that's been posted, and I'm like, don't give it any attention. The more attention you give it, guess what? The more it's going to be out there. People love that drama. They love they're just, that's the thing they're drawn to. And I guess when you were talking about the live streaming, I wanted to touch base on that again, because that is the birth of reality TV. What you guys were doing. That's really how all of that came to be.
Well, yeah, and I tell people, because they're so worried about being perfect and having a good brand and product. Well, I said, what TV show do you know out there that is live besides the news? Even the news isn't live. Like World News Tonight, they tape that 30 minutes before they air it, because you're going to have hiccups, you're going to have mistakes. There's not one primetime show outside of sports that you name it, the top shows, 60 Minutes, any of the, I don't even watch TV. I couldn't even tell you what the top TV shows are, but
I don't have cable or anything either.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a live show that does well on TV. So but and the other thing too, when I started doing lives and stuff, 10, 15 years ago, it was news, because nobody, you heard your friend was doing a live, you're like, wow,
what is that?
How are you doing that? And what are you doing? And live brings people in because they know you can mess up.
Yes.
And you can't. There's no do-overs
There's no do-overs. That's for sure.
At the same time, you have to be careful, because I remember when lives really, when they first became available to everybody on Facebook and stuff, and everybody could do them. Well, then people were doing them for no reason, and it was just too much for us. Skip over it. Why are you? You need content. So I always tell people, when you go live, make sure you have something like we're doing, where there's going to be value and a story, whatever guests people want to listen to, or there's a fire outside your house, there's a news event happening outside your house, there's something really important. Now, of course, a lot of things we're talking about here don't apply to a large majority of people on social media, because they're not looking to sell anything. They just want to connect with family and friends. So do lives on whatever you want, do video, don't listen to anything, do whatever you want. We're directed towards people like that call me and say, hey, I want to be the next Grant Cardone.
Well, and like, we work with the spray foam installation industry and the contractors, and I have a company that is they do aftermarket parts and stuff too. So the thing is getting them to be more, and there are a number of them who actually, they use Instagram stories very, very well, because they can go on a job and they can, because that's the thing I want them to bring to the table, is show your customers. They may not understand what you're doing, but show them that little video of you in the house spraying the wall, like spraying insulation into the walls of that project. Talk a little bit about that project. There's ways to not just be like, this is why you need this business. Show them.
Oh yeah. You go back to the reality show type of.
Yeah.
That's some of the consulting I give my clients is, if you had a reality show, what are you going to feature in a reality show? And now you have that opportunity to do it. And reality shows like the Kardashians, whatever, I'm telling you, what they do is they come out to the Kardashians once a week, but they tell them next week, write down the fights you have, write down the scenarios. Then when we come back with the cameras, you can reenact it. So you can do the same thing on social media. But yes, when you are, whatever your profession is, if you are that artist, if you are that singer, if you are whatever your business is, don't sit here and tell us about it. Show us you doing what you do in action with a real customer, with, you're actually doing it. Or what's that one thing you keep telling us about that makes you better than everybody else? Don't sit here and post about it. Show us using that technique or whatever you do in action.
Yes.
And that's the other thing I learned about acting, because I would share my behind the scenes when I was producing, Hollywood red carpets and meeting with my crew and things like that, and then people see that. Well, I'm technically advertising, but because I'm bringing you along behind the scenes, you're paying attention, because I'm not sitting there going, hey, buy from me. I'm going, hey, check out what I'm doing. It's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. And it's not, that is the whole thing. Selling isn't even about selling. You're selling yourself. You're selling your story.
Yeah.
Really.
And the law of attraction. This is what we all know and talk about. Yeah. It is amplified a zillion times online. So, people, I try to tell people, they think they got 1 minute you support Trump, 1 minute it doesn't seem like you do.
Yeah.
I tell people I don't like any politician. I think the whole system's screwed up.
Right.
I thought Trump was a hell of a lot better than voting for Clinton, But Trump's all those words you say about him, I agree 100%. But he was on whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is, yes, there might be. You worry about, well, if I make a political statement, if I say how I really feel about something, I'm going to cost myself possibly business, because
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be these people that know if I feel this way, they don't want to do business with me. Well, I'm going to tell you personal experience. There's just as many that now will do business with you just based on that one thing.
Yeah.
Because I've had that happen to me. I have gotten clients just because I supported whatever. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason they came to me.
Right.
And so the trade-offs are there. So don't, like I said, being the thing that's really sells the most is not really having a filter. I mean, sometimes we have to or whatever, but when people know who you really are and you're being real, that separates you online on social media, because most people we know, no, your life isn't that good and you're not happy all the time, and and you're not gonna take side, whatever. I mean, we see right through it. We see right through it. So so let the law of attraction.
It's what you put. Yeah, it is. It's those things that people think. I think people think that, and I have this conversation a lot. People think, well, social media is a waste of time, and it is like it's useless and all these things. And I think I had a conversation with somebody recently about being in a group related to our industry, and them thinking that's just a place where everybody goes and comments, whatever. And I said, but you have to look at that very differently, because you can take those comments, you don't have to agree with them, and you don't have to like them. Pick out what they're saying, because they're being honest right now, and you're getting feedback like you would never be given if they were talking directly to you. Pick out that information and create a different post around that, where it's not directed at those people, but you're creating, now you're going to create a piece of education or whatever the thing you disagreed with, create another piece around that. So it makes people, now you're being seen in a different light too.
Well, most of us as a business owner, we have a problem we can solve for people that they will pay us money for. And our biggest issue is people with this problem don't know who we are. And there is also ways of identifying where people have said, I need a good insulation blowing, I need my ad, whatever. I need help with social media in my case, or I need help with a video or whatever. And if you could find that post or that comment and go in there and say, hey, I can help you. There's where social media happens, because one comment can change your life. Like I said, that's with me and Grant. One comment I made on his post that I could solve a problem for him, and it changed both of our lives forever. Millions of dollars changed and everything just for both of us. Brian Hess is one of my most recent success stories. He made one comment and it netted him $1 million on $1 million contract on a concrete paving job, because I taught him how to find the people to look for, what to do, and then so when people say social media, whatever, it's because they haven't had that life-changing moment. They haven't been where, wow, I made one comment and it got me a customer that brought me $1 million in business.
That's right.
And until that happens, till you get paid, it is for 99% of people, it's a waste of time. And that's what I knew when I first got into social media, is I just loved it so much. I said, yes, I need to figure out how to make money off it, or I'm going to be wasting my life and I'm going to be broke.
Right, exactly. You also have worked with Brad Lee.
Yes.
So that was, now he has his own I know I follow him on Instagram. I don't follow him as much on Facebook, but he does the Dropping Bombs. Is that the name of his?
That's the name of his podcast.
But what was the one that you started him with?
We started this YouTube initially with The Bottom Line.
That's what it was. Yes.
Basically, what he does on Instagram now, the little 2 to 3 minutes. That's we started that on his YouTube. But with Brad, it was almost the same process as it was with Grant. I met Brad through Grant, and Brad, I saw the superstar that he could be.
Right.
At first, and the first time I met Brad in person was at technically first Growth Con was in Cancun, but it was just called a 10X seminar back then. It was about 50 people.
Right.
And it was the first time Brad ever publicly spoke. This was in 2014.
Yeah.
And I was like, we need to get you going on social media. And he was just like one of the people you said there, yeah, I don't know, whatever. I don't get it, whatever. And it took me 2 years. And then finally
Did it really?
I was in Vegas playing in the World Series, went and visited him at Lightspeed BT, and I said, you need to set up your own studio, and then he hired me, did the mentoring program. And then what I do with people like him, I teach my clients how to walk on their own. So when you want to be on that level of Grant Cardone, how to set up your studio, your live broadcasting, who you need to hire, the video guy, all this stuff, the graphic guy, versus outsourcing and having to pay for it every time you want to have it all, how to set up the processes in-house for Facebook ads, for Instagram ads, how to do it all internally to where, if I died tomorrow, you're fine.
You can still go on. Yeah.
And that's something that, like I said, when I first got needing social media help, I saw that the industry was just full of fraud, basically. These people that would take your money and basically you'd be getting copy and paste Gary Vee stuff in what they're training.
Yeah.
Not offer you any guarantees and try to put you on yearly contracts that would cost you all kinds of money, that you had to pay them every month, and regardless if you got any success or anything. So I just really, I'm just going to mentor you for 3 months, show you how to set the processes up, and now you can walk on your own. And you're going to know so much that you can actually do what I do now. If you want to add social media training and all that to your business, you'll be able to do that. You could translate that. And then the only thing you're going to need me for in the future is when, say, a new platform comes out, or you need help with content. Hey, I got this coming. This, like with Grant, we formulated whatever it takes. I came to him, and it was almost the same concept as what the Charlie Sheen social media contest I was in. Make a video why you should be part of this, and this will be a journey. Come work for type deal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and that translated to Hank Norman,
right?
Matt Monero, on and on. Judge Graham helped out, and then my biggest really, I think, thing that happened after Grant. Remember Grant was in Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
I connected through his personal assistant. Her personal assistant's sister was Beth Riesgraft, and she starred on the TV show Leverage with Timothy Hutton and all them. It ran on TNT for 6 years. Well, she contacted me in their last year, their cancellation season, and she goes, "Yeah, my sister works for Grant. She thought, she recommended you. I know I need to get my social media going because they're canceling the TV show this year." And so she hired me, did that, grew her social media exponentially. Basically, she had 30,000 on Twitter and like 10,000 on Facebook. We got over 100,000 on Facebook, almost 500,000 on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then she comes to me and says, "Hey, the People's Choice Awards are coming out. The fans vote. Is there any way you can get these new followers to vote for us? We've never even been nominated." And the fans have to vote to get us nominated. I said, yeah, but you're gonna have to let me do one thing. And she said, what? I said, you have to let me answer your personal messages on social media. You never answer. She's like,
Yeah.
Okay. So she get millions of them. You know, she's attractive, and you get all this crazy stuff in there. But I would go in there and like thank the creepers and even the good fans and thank them and all that. And then, hey, by the way, drop the link to where they would go vote, and like, hey, let all your friends know and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did some other things which I can't talk about because I confidential.
Yeah.
But long story short, got it nominated. Naturally, after nominated, they came and said, "Can you get us the win for best cable TV drama?"
Wow.
With the social media. I didn't, I said, "I'm never done. I'll try."
Yeah.
Put some really epic stuff into play. Flew out to LA for the People's Choice Awards. We win. Have a big party. Get back to my hotel room at 2 a.m. I'm like, pretty,
yeah, feeling pretty good.
Pretty couple sheets to the wind, probably.
Yeah.
And I lay my head down, and my phone rings in the room, and they go, "Mr. Nast, there's a limo out front for you right now." And I go, "What?" They go, "Yeah, there's a limo driver saying he's here to pick you up." Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, whatever. So I went down like in my sweats. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, whoever it is.
Is this a joke? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. If they're trying to drag me out to go party later or whatever, I'm too tired. Yeah, I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
So I go down there, and the guy goes, "Mr. Nast," I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You might want to change." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because you are the personal guest of the President Warner Brothers at the Academy Award nominations this morning."
Oh,
because
my.
when they do the nominations, it's like in LA, it's like at 5 a.m. because they do them on the morning shows. And so on the East Coast, so that's like 3 a.m. But,
Oh, wow.
So I ran upstairs, changed. I remember sitting down there. I was like on the second row. It's not that big of a place where they do the nominations because they're saying who are going to be the nominees.
Yeah.
And I sit down, and then I had the president of Warner Brothers sit on my left, and then the president of Paramount sit on my right. And first thing the president of Warner said to me after shaking my hand, he goes, "How in the fuck did you do that?" And he was talking about Savage, which was a show winning the People's Choice Award for Best Cable TV Drama after airing for 6 years and not getting even nominated.
Right.
And that just opened a door for me in Hollywood. I've worked with probably 50 to 60 A-list celebrities behind the scenes because naturally nobody in that, wants anybody to know that they're being helped.
Right. Of course.
They're doing social media on their own.
Yeah.
And then contracted with Warner to help them with all their projects as they release them and new artists and basically do all the stuff that they were having issues with or paying Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram a lot of money to do because to them engagement before they released a project was paramount to them.
Yeah.
Because they say like if we have a new Batman movie come out and that first day we release the trailer, we release the Facebook page, we release the Instagram. Well, it doesn't have any followers because it's the first day. Right. Well, a critic or somebody could mistake it as the movie sucks, not realizing, oh, we just released the page, the video, the trailer, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, wow, it's only got 100 views, blah, blah, blah. So their thing is they wanted, before it's released to the public, we want our Facebook page to have over 10,000 likes. We want the video to have 50,000 views. We want the Instagram to be followed by as many people.
Yeah.
So that is what they brought me into, and then also to help mentor people that didn't have, didn't know what they were doing on social media. And then, I've gotten that phone call from like Robert De Niro's, I don't know, person or publicist and saying, "Mr. Nast, we heard you're in Hollywood. Would you like to meet Mr. De Niro for lunch today?" And I'm just like going,
So crazy.
You know, it wasn't, yeah, it was what, 5 years ago? I was, you know, the general manager of a car dealership, a nobody. And now I have like people I looked up to my whole life in the movie industry and stuff.
Right.
And they're asking me if I have time to go to lunch with them because they just want to pick my brains and see what I can do for them. So, yeah, it has been an amazing journey. And
Yeah.
to anybody that's watching, you know, like I said, everything I do now, I have no formal education in. I just learned. I don't know what to say.
You're self-taught.
Trial and error, and just, I guess, being blessed to be able to look at things from a perspective of not having any attachment. You know, like when I would get that big name client, I didn't go in there and kiss their ass and tell, oh, you're so
right.
good, all that. I would tell them, like I told you, you suck, or what is not be, you know. And it's funny because I'll get new clients, and they don't understand why I haven't like went over all their content and posts and stuff.
Right.
And I go, because I don't want to be clouded. I want to be that person you're trying to attract that's never seen you. So I want to look at it that perspective.
Yeah.
And so see what you put out, and then tell you, be able to say, not come from that side where, oh, I see you are value also, but see where I'm not getting the value here, you know,
right.
in that perspective. And yeah, it just surprises a lot of people because they're used to that. Oh yeah, you're great. We're going to be able to do all this for you, blah, blah, blah. And then I do the same thing with clients. There's not everybody I can help. There's singers that suck. There's movie guys that they have a shitty movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I filter that. I mean, if I can't help somebody, I don't want that on my, you know, I don't want somebody out there saying I paid Nast all this money,
right,
and I didn't get anything, because that doesn't look good for me. So in a polite way, I'll either say I'm too booked or too busy if there's somebody I can't help.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, when you're in the realm that you are with those people, coming at them from a place of you're a person just like me, and not being clouded, that is going to catch them off guard. But that is a very smart way to do that, because then you're not going in going, oh, okay, this, you know, all of those things are there. If you just go in, and I find that, like, that's how this little Coffee with Carla that I do, I have never once researched, scripted, any of that, because I find for me too, it makes me not be natural. Like, I can't be natural if I'm trying to follow a script, or if I'm trying to follow, like, this is what you need to say, and it just has to flow. And the conversations I've been fortunate to have with people who've come on have just, like, they've just flowed, because we're just talking. We're just having a conversation. So it's easier to do it that way. And I think you get more out of people that way than you would if you're being so specific and so geared to like those things, because they're just at ease and they can just talk freely. So I wanted to go back to the Chris Kyle video, because we do have that, and I wanted to talk about, I remember when you were getting that, trying to get that to 1 million views, and I forget when we started, when JJ came and he's like, let's get this to 1 million views, and I'm like, okay. I had Twitter, I think, then. I don't even know, well, I obviously had Facebook, but like that was probably it. Tweeting the crap out of that video, but it was at about, what was it at? Like, I remember watching that going, what's it at now? What's it? Because it was so exciting to see it go to 1 million. And then we got there, and I was just like, I remember being so excited about it, because it was such it's an incredible piece.
But it's one of the worst videos I ever technically
But it's
watched.
like,
My
it
tripod
touches
broke
people.
in the middle of it. I was using my hand. I mean, that's what's crazy is with content, you have all this perfect content done, but then, you know, something like this where, you know, I had all kinds of snafus with my tripod while it was happening, and yeah, it's crazy how it worked out.
We've, you know, and Mike and I've had this too, because what's funny is you have this thing that you think, oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. Like, we're going to get this going. It's going to be so good. And it's like nothing. And then the next thing will come along, and it's something completely just off the wall, weird, like, and just goes insane.
Yeah. And so what's crazy about this video is, you know, I have some promotional hacks on all the platforms. With YouTube, what people don't realize is 95% of the videos in the history of YouTube have less than 500 views. So if you have over 500 views, you're in the top 5% of videos all time.
Really?
Yeah, because most people upload personal whatever, and it's less. So yeah, less than 500 views is 95% of the content on YouTube. So YouTube's a Google product. YouTube is the #2 search engine besides Google. People search things on YouTube at #2 from Google. So if you can get content on there and have it titled, tagged, everything right, then it's a great way to organically funnel traffic, basically.
Right.
And so there's there's little hacks that you can do. And what I did on this one is we did one to get it basically started to where it got at least 200,000 views. Because that really puts it in another category algorithm-wise. So what happens now and is if anybody's watching a video that's similar, or maybe the Chris Kyle American Sniper trailer, then this video pulls up organically in that sidebar of recommended
in the
videos.
next,
and then people or will autoplay after that video ends. You know how you have that? If you if you just let it keep running, it keeps pulling videos up.
Yeah.
So it keys into that feature. Then also keys into Google search. We have a way with the YouTube video we can get anybody organically on, as long as it's more than two words or more, Google search. Grant in 2012 said, I want to be on first page of anytime someone search how to sell on the phone. So anybody watching out there right now, Google how to sell on the phone, you're going to see probably at least one, I think there's two now, two videos. The one we did is from 2012, and it's still on there. What is this? 9 years later, organic first page, and this is not video search. This is first page, all results search, which you don't see videos usually on there. So you can imagine the power of being on first page of search with a video, because what do we, as people, when we go through search, we don't want to read a blog. We don't want to click to it. If there's a video right there we can push, we can do that. So there's a whole bunch of things. But the beauty of this video is, it's basically, I think it hit about, I would say that million mark, and then till the movie, it kind of just hung around there. And then when the movie hit, that's when it took off. And if you look at the comments, it's a debate board for whether Chris Kyle was the devil or an angel.
Right.
And I think there's close to 3 to 4. It gets 3 or 4 comments a day on it. And I mean, and the same thing with it. I mean, it just makes you crazy. And what sucks is because I had to use the music copyrighted soundtrack. That artist gets all the revenue of that video.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've wondered that, because it's like, how does that work with the music? Because I know on Facebook you get that whole thing where they'll mute you if you're using music, and you're not copyrighted and all that. So I've wondered how that works.
Well, most artists are tied in to YouTube now to where you can use their music, and then they get all the money.
Wow.
And then there's a link on the video saying, if you want this song, this is where you can buy it.
Got it.
Now, there's some like Garth Brooks and stuff that, no, they aren't on it. And yes, your stuff will get taken down for using it. It's the same thing like on your Facebook videos, they'll get taken down using music. That's one thing that we hadn't even talked about TikTok or anything, but that's one thing about TikTok is their music library is so intense, and you have that ability not only once you posted it on TikTok, but now you can use that same everything on your on all your other social media. Yeah,
let's talk about TikTok for a minute. I've just looked at the time. We've been going here for quite a while. I don't want to take up your whole day, but I do want to touch on TikTok because, again, this is where people think we're wasting time. yada yada, you know, that whole thing, because they're looking at it not from a business standpoint. How do you think TikTok is good for a business? How do they relate? Because TikTok, it is crazy, like the things I've seen from TikTok, like it's hilarious, but it's powerful.
Yeah, well, the thing about TikTok is, this is what I tell people, you're going to learn the most by just going to your feed and watching, because I've told people, you know, just go for 15 minutes, and then they tell me they ended up being on there for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. What TikTok really does, it's really a game changer. I think it's the next level in not only content, but social media. You know, I made the mistake, for one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my career was when Facebook came out. I was what they called a MySpace clinger. When everybody started going to Facebook, I was like, oh, whatever, you know. And then the last thing I knew, I was all by myself on Facebook. And then I was like, oh, shit, I better go over to, I was the last person on MySpace. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. In my opinion, TikTok is going to, it already is, it's going to make, not Facebook, but it's going to make Instagram the next MySpace. Because it's crazy. You can go over to TikTok and look for anything from your favorite sports teams to your influencers. Yeah. And they have an entirely different set of content there that you can find anywhere else. And it challenges you as a user to kind of up your game. I believe in a couple of years, your social media basically clout and status or ability is going to be judged on your TikTok game, because there's just like a lot of things to do on there. But the biggest thing about TikTok is you could have you could go on there tomorrow, no followers, anything, and you could get 1 million views on a video.
It's crazy
because because of the organic engagement TikTok provides. They put your content to so many people that don't follow you that it's just absolutely mind-blowing. And that is not offered by any other platform where any of them will put your content in people that don't follow you's feed. That it's not shared by somebody, you know, where it's just organically there. Yeah. And it's just, I think it's going to be.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I am gonna let you go back to your day, because we could sit here for all day long and talk. I just want to say that I appreciate you coming on here so much. I randomly did that message thing to you after one of your stories. When are you coming on a Coffee with Carla? Never in a million years did I think you would come on. And you answered me right away, and I was like, oh, now I'm scared. Now I'm nervous. So, but thank you. You've shared so much great information, and just thank you for being available and doing this with us today. There's comments on here. We've got comments. I've kind of been looking at them but not reading them, so we'll have to go back and read them. But is there anything you want to say to kind of wrap things up?
Well, like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of comments, and one thing maybe you could do in the future is a show to where you can actually, have a Q and take questions from the audience.
Yeah.
That would be, I'm not talking about with me or anything, but just a format to do for your show.
Yeah.
But if anybody has any questions, michaelnastmedia.com, the contact me, Facebook, Instagram, social media. I mean, that's that's what I always tell people, screw a business card. Let's connect on social, because social is so much powerful than just a business card.
Yeah, for sure. We'll make sure that those are all in the comments as well, so people can find you. We'll link them and stuff. So,
and all my people watching you, why don't you drop? Because I'm sure everybody's like, who is this Carla? What does she do?
Who's this chick? Facebook, you can find me on Facebook under Carla Airy Culinaires, A Coffee with Carla, Instagram at Carla J7, I think it is. LinkedIn, Twitter, all those good places. Twitter was like the place, that's where we all connected. I know it way back in the day.
And so what problem can you solve for people?
What can I solve for people? I think with a Coffee with Carla, it's really just about interviewing or having a conversation with people so their customers may get to know them just on a different level outside of their business and help them to kind of grow their space on social media.
I'm talking about your professional life. What is it that you do?
What do I do?
What do people pay you to do?
What do people pay me to do? They pay, so it's mainly tradespeople, and I help them with their social media. We do SEO, websites, and different things of that nature as well, and help them get online and be seen online and be found.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time too, Carla.
Thank you so much. And for everybody that watched and tuned in and commented, thank you so much for being a part of today. And we will catch you all next week. You guys do one thing today that brings you some kind of joy in this crazy space we're living in right now. And we will see you all next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You know, social media is changing the game these days.
We use it for disaster relief groups to coordinate relief efforts.
So in the last 12 minutes on Twitter for Have Them Give, he's gained 167 followers. I've gained 200 followers in the last 12 minutes.
Hey, Grant Cardone here, New York Times bestselling author and your #1 sales expert here on Twitter. This is Michael Nast. I call him the Nasty Man. And bam, I was on him like white on rice, baby.
Unbelievable record 2011 year for me. This is what we did this year. I added a Twitter account that has 100,000 followers in 12 months. YouTube account just hit 1 million views. We've dropped over 600 videos on YouTube. Facebook, we had over 20 million reposts. TV was off the hook.
Great having you out here, buddy.
Yes,
I look forward to doing some
Grant.
business with Michael Nast. Dude, Michael Nast, this was your idea. You pushed me to do this. How y'all turn this thing around. This whole production was done with less than 2 days. Feed. Everybody's like, what? And we got all the other stuff that we're doing at the same time. So it just shows you, man, commit, figure out the mechanics later. It'll work out.
Hey, this is Michael Nast, and we're here with Brad Lee in the bottom line.
That's right, motherfucker.